In this video, we'll be going over the role of a facilitator for a virtual design sprint. Now, for those who already do design sprints in person, doing them virtually is not that much different. You still have to maintain communication, foster collaboration between all of the participants, and establish a pace that everyone will follow for the design sprint itself. There will be other things like software and tracking time, but overall, you'll be able to do a lot of the things that you normally do when commanding a room or setting direction for the sprint simply by doing it online. The most important thing when you are doing a virtual sprint as a facilitator is to maintain constant communication. That means keeping track of both the active and passive communication channels all of your participants are currently using. You're going to be very active in this space throughout the week, so make sure that everyone is on the same page about how you're going to be moving forward in the sprint. Another thing you'll need to do is foster collaboration. Now, this isn't forcing people to get along, but you are looking for the strengths and skills that make everyone unique on your team. And you want to make sure you understand your own strengths first. How do you facilitate? What are you really good at? Are you good at arranging things and kind of bringing resources together? Do you do very well in terms of communicating what needs to be done? Are you very regimented and disciplined? What's the nature of your facilitation and what do you bring to the table? You also want to pay attention to the other people that are on your team and figure out what their communication styles are, how they prefer to communicate with each other, and how they want to get involved with online activities as well as offline activities. Try to encourage others to self-affirm their roles and contributions. If they're a researcher, really encourage them to do research type activities. Same with being an advisor. If they can really show the vision or the path for the entire team, empower them to do so. Really give people the sense of ownership about what you're doing in the upcoming weeks with your virtual design sprint, and it'll go a long way to making sure that everyone's successful. Finally, you want to make sure you establish the pace. You're still responsible for the time and effort everyone's going to be doing for the virtual sprint, and you want to make sure you keep everyone on track. There's going to be a plan in place, hopefully, before you even start the week. Be prepared to call audibles. No matter what the situation may be, you're going to have to be pretty versatile in terms of how you reapproach your path forward when getting certain things done. I always like to encourage facilitators, especially that are new to virtual design sprints, to take advantage of a lot of online tools to make sure that everyone's on the same page, and we'll go over some of those tools later on in the presentation. But no matter what your situation may be, always try to proactively prepare for upcoming activities. It really goes a long way to making sure that you aren't overly stressed about where your design sprint is going throughout the week. Here's a few best practices for those who are starting out with virtual design sprints as a facilitator. The first is to get your own house in order, and that means getting your environment set up for the virtual design sprint. Whether it's a virtual time timer, it's pen, pencil, and paper so you can do some analog work while you're facilitating, or maybe have a couple monitors if you want to keep track of multiple screens. It's totally up to you on how you want to do it. You could also invest in other things like a Wacom tablet if you're really into sketching. It's perfect for people that are very artistically inclined. You can use different props that you can put into your video, whether they're hats or signs. You also need to figure out collectively as a team what they prefer to use online for a remote sprint. Now, this is an important point because even though we've set up tools like Mural and Zoom and Slack for you as a base, there'll be preferences that everyone will have, including your own, on how you want to communicate. What's listed here on this slide are just some suggestions on where you could go with things, but you probably want to have that conversation early, even before the sprint or perhaps Monday morning, and really tie down how you want to communicate as a team, how you want to approach the prototype, what kind of repository you're going to be using to put all of your files in. Again, it'll be a team conversation, but you definitely want to have that conversation with everyone. There are additional resources you can tap as well. Online tools that keep track of time. Cuckoo is very good for that. It's Pomodoro time boxing to make sure that everyone's concentrating on the same activity and making sure they only have a certain amount of time to do it. Mural, if you're using that whiteboarding tool, has a timer built in so that you can use that when you're tracking what people are doing. There's a lot of different tools, and I really encourage you to kind of look out there, especially you can look on Product Hunt, has a ton of different options for you to choose from. One of the most important things you should do is get alignment on everything with your sprint team. Make sure that everyone knows their roles and responsibilities. Perhaps you may have visual examples of how the process may work if you've had enough time to prepare. It usually helps people that are new to the process understand how they want to step through things. Finally, make sure that everyone on the team understands what both the facilitator and the advisor bring to the team in terms of leadership. You want to make sure that whatever decisions are made by you as a facilitator when it comes to activities in the schedule and what people are going to do next doesn't conflict with what an advisor may advise in terms of the team moving forward. Make sure you're in sync. There's nothing that saps the team more than having individuals feel like they need to make decisions on the part of the team that aren't aligned with how the facilitator or the advisor are seeing things. Team cohesion is very important, and make sure you have it before you go into your virtual sprint. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below. Otherwise, subscribe and like at your leisure, and stay tuned for more videos on the Global Virtual Design Sprint.